I know. Thank you. I would like to hit the present
Yeah.
button now.
All right, thank you. It's second period right now, ain't it?
It is.
All right, bet. Bye.
What did I do here? I need to try and get this into the presentation mode. View. No, I want this one on view. Uh, maybe if I refresh that page. Or nothing will happen. That's even better. There we go. And that didn't work. Okay. Oh well. It is what it is. All right, friends. We did ask that you grab a notebook. Miss Narduzzi had this wonderful epiphany last week in how to make a notebook into a planner. So I'm going to tell you right now that if you have a notebook and like 3 different colored pens, or even one pen, doesn't really matter if they're color coded. It's helpful, but it doesn't have to be. This is literally going to take you less than 10 minutes to do. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show the video that she made for us. Maybe, there we go. I'm trying to like unclick from things. And to do this, I need to put myself on mute. Otherwise it echoes through and that's no fun. Was it an okay volume for you, Miss Narduzzi, last time I did it? It was a little low on mine.
It was a little low, but I just made my volume go up. It was okay.
Okay. I was trying to see if there's like a better volume on this one. Let me see if there is. Like if there's a volume on it. Before I get started. Well, let me do it. I'm not sure it'll play for me anyway. Hold on a second. Let me try something. I gotta turn off the. There should have been. Let me get this. There it is. Okay. Now I have to hit present again. This is just going to take a second because I have to hit the little note button. Okay. And somebody is out there watching this recording right now going, wow, she wasn't kidding about it being a real poop show. Okay. So I'm going to try hitting the little play button here and see if it gives us a volume. That might be why. There we go.
Notebook.
So let me pause. And then I'm going to stop my volume so that you guys don't have to hear it echoing through.
Way of having a planner. So here's just a plain old composition notebook. I was using this notebook for something else, but you would take like the first 2 pages and create a little yearly calendar. I just started with February because that's where we're at, but you should really do, you could start at February, but you should do through December because you should use it for the whole year. So as you can see here, I did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the top. And then I started my month because the first was on a Monday. That's where the 1 goes, under the Monday. And then I kept going to there. February only has 28 days, so that stops there. But you'll see some of my months, like March goes to the 31st. But the first, see the first here is on a Monday. The first here is on a Thursday because that's what day the first really is. So your calendar should mimic the real calendar. So what I did was look at the calendar on my iPhone and I made my digital one look just like that. So you'll have 2 pages of this, again, February through December, because I'm not doing that because I have an actual calendar that I use. And as you look up here in February, I have the 14th circled, and I've circled the 14th because I know that's an important day. Yes, it's Valentine's Day, but it's also the day that your poetry essay is due. So any important dates, no matter what they are, you should just circle them. And then over here on the next page, so this would be after you are done with both of the 2 days for the calendar, don't write on this side, because as you see, there's ghosting like under the paper, and it eventually makes it really hard to see what you have written on both sides. It makes it a little bit, it's yucky, so don't do that. Always write just on the front pages for calendar purposes. If you'd like to take notes like that, that's cool, but we're not going to do that. So for this part, I put February 2021 at the top, and then I put the dates along the side. So the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Make sure you skip a line in between because you may have many things to do. And then I accidentally didn't skip, I skipped 2 pages. And then you're gonna go do that all the way to the 28th, skipping lines, okay? So just again, 28 days in February. So I put in, again, I circled, because again, the 14th, poetry essay due. So I circled that date here because it now matches my circle date over there. So you guys can see I circled it on this tiny calendar and on the date over here. So I remember, important day. My poetry essay is due. So let's pretend I'm a student, and this weekend I'm going to see my friends on Saturday from 2 to 3. I have family dinner from 6 to 8, but I also have MDM homework, and I'm going to do that from 8 to 9, because on Saturday I'm going to sleep. On Sunday, I also work from 1 to 7. I'm going to come home and just eat something real quick, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And then I'm going to watch 2 ed puzzles and take notes from 8 to 9. So the point of this is to show you how to block out your time. The more that you block out the time, the more extra time you have. So it might sound counterintuitive that when you make lists of what you need to do, including the time blocking, it's important to always block the time, which is why a planner that goes by the hours is better. But this will work because you still see, okay, I'm from 1 till 9 o'clock at night, I don't have any free time because I'm working, I need to eat dinner, and I need to watch my ed puzzles. But I have time before 1. So if I want to do my nails, or if I want to get my hair cut, or if I, want to work out, that I would need to do it before this time. Okay. So that's why it's important to have two lines, and I have huge handwriting, so that's one of it. But I can write down anything else I need to know. I know that I'm writing a paper that's due here about these 2 ed puzzles, then I know I'm also going to want to take notes on them. Okay, it got a little blurry there. So again, that's why I have that there. A nice thing too about leaving this side blank is if you need to jot down little notes about things that you don't want to forget for these days here, or these days here, you have extra space to write notes like little stars on the, just make sure I spell check my paper for the 14th, whatever you need to do. So that is how you could take a regular old notebook and make it into a planner.
All right, guys. So I'm going to put you guys, flip my camera. So I did this at the beginning of last period, and I just added a couple things to it in a simple notebook. Basically, while Mr. Ducey's video was going, I went through and found a notebook and some pens and started putting some things in as just an example. So what I did is I tried to color code this, and I used my daughter's work schedule for this week for what she has to work. She works 3 to 9 Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Then I went and I did a special outline here for you guys around the 12th as a reminder that there's no school that day. And then one of the things I thought about would be helpful if I was in your shoes is to know which day we had classes in the morning and in the afternoon. So I put like a little AM PM thing here to remind me of that. Just so you guys remember. I'm going to flip the thing here. When we get to this week here, actually, I think we started this week. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I didn't go any further than that. That AM PM thing goes away. When we start rolling in people to come back from school for the hybrid stuff, we are going to start following a typical bell schedule and your expectation, whether you're remote or hybrid or in the building, is that you are following that bell schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I believe we start that with you guys on Tuesday the 16th, because remember, Monday the 15th, also no school. So I would have to put that in here. So I'm going to put that there now. It's hard to do holding it. All right. And then because I did that one in like a little dotted line thing, doesn't have to be pretty. So that just reminds me that there's no school on those days. And then I still have room to put in the things that I need to do for the day. For example,
Oh my
on
goodness,
today,
that's silly.
I have from 1 to 2 that I want to choose poems and take notes, so that from 2 to 3 I can be getting ready to go to work and going to work. All right.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, I'm going to hang up on my little phone call here, is I'm going to pull up, possibly. Maybe. I don't know, because it's going to try and
Good
restart.
morning. So yesterday I promised that
I hate
I
wind.
would show you my easy.
All right. So we're going to quickly review what you have to do for your poetry analysis, and then we're going to chunk this out. So in the poetry analysis, you're picking 2 of the 4 poems to write.
You don't have school today, Kim.
A 4 to 5 paragraphs maximum essay. I said
Nope,
4 paragraphs.
guess
in your
not.
thing, in which you compare and contrast the poems. Okay. So we started filling this out last period. I'm going to take this off of presentation mode so that I can type into it. So what we did is we previously, with one of my classes, had decided like how many.
I'm sorry, if you could have slept later.
Hey, Miss Narduzzi, your mic is open. Oh, I know.
Sorry, talking to Munchkin. I didn't realize she didn't have school today, and I woke her up.
Oh no. I think now all of our students' lives are shattered. I had this nice little extension in here that was supposed to make it so that when I'm on here, you don't have to see all the other garbage on the side. But anyway, so what I did, you can see the dog sleeping under there now, is I went through and I think it was, I can't remember if it was first period last week or a different class, but we had chunked out everything that you have to do step by step in order to complete this assignment. So we said, like, the first thing you were going to have to do, the first step was to watch the original Edpuzzles. Then you had to choose the poem that you wanted to write about. You'd have to rewatch those videos and take notes on the 2 that you're going to write about. Complete the graphic organizer. I don't know why the R in that is capitalized. Find a quote for the hook or or come up with a hook that you want for your paper. You remember Miss Narduzzi and Miss Kales are going to be reading about 100 of these. So we want to try to make ours not as boring as the rest, right? So we're going to try and come up with something that makes them go, ooh, this sounds like it'll be fun to read. Write a thesis statement, write a draft of the paper, grammar check the paper, and then submit the paper. All of this has to be done before the 14th or by the 14th at midnight. So you probably have a lot of other things on your plates too but these are the things that we need to get done in order to get the paper in on time. So realistically, we said it's going to take between 40 and 60 minutes to watch all of the Edpuzzles. So if you have not done that yet, that means that you have like an extra hour of work to do before you can even get started on writing the assignment. So I would suggest that you work on getting that done today. The reason we said it's 40 to 60 minutes to do all 4 of them is because each one is between 8 and 10 minutes long. So we were looking at about 10 minutes a piece for each of them on average if you were going quickly. But if you're, I know Gabe said that he likes to rewatch the clip before he answers sometimes. That might take you a little bit longer. So that's why we bumped that up to 60 minutes. All right. So the next one is to choose the poems that you want to write about. So we said this would take you between 2 and 10 minutes. Like for some of us, we may have automatically known, oh, I want to write about Tupac because I love Tupac. But others may go, oh, I just can't stand any kind of poetry. I don't know which one I want to write about. So with that, like Kiki in first period was saying that she just can't stand Shakespeare. She doesn't know what the big deal is about him. But she did like the Neruda poem better. So I had advised her, I was like, well, that might be a good one for you to write about then, because you could compare and contrast the two, and then you could show why you feel Neruda did a better job of writing a love poem than Shakespeare did, and why we should be studying someone like Pablo Neruda more than we're studying somebody like Shakespeare. Okay? Trust me, you're not going to hurt my feelings on that one. Like, I understand why Shakespeare is hard. But I also understand why he's hung around for so long. But we could spend a whole day talking about that. So once we picked our the poems that we want to do, what we then need to do is go back and rewatch the videos that we had for them. We don't have to get them reassigned to us. We can go back and review it and then take notes on those videos so that when you're sitting down to do your graphic organizer, it's a little bit easier for you to fill things out. All right. So your graphic organizer, I'm going to have that posted for you guys later today. When I poll students, typically they say it takes us at least 2 class periods to complete a graphic organizer for something like this. So that's about 90 minutes minimum. So we said about between 90 minutes to 120. So anywhere from 2 to 3 class periods to complete one of the graphic organizer. So with that being said, I'm going to make a video for you guys to help get you guys started with that. And hopefully that will be helpful for you guys so that we can review that at the beginning of our next class together, and then talk about hooks and thesis statements so that you guys are fully ready for this and citing properly the quotations. Okay. So how long do you think it would typically take for you guys to find a quote for the hook of your paper if you were looking for a quote? Because I figure that one's usually one to take. They all take about the same amount of time. All right, 30 minutes, 150 seconds. So, yeah, it can take us anywhere from, let's say, 3 minutes, which is close to your 150, to probably 15 to 20 minutes. Because when we like go on Google, many times we go down like a little rabbit hole and get sidetracked by things. So it can be very easy to, waste like 20, 30 minutes going looking for information. Writing a thesis statement, this can be very difficult for people. I've been doing it for at least 30 years, and I've done it for this particular essay in class at least 10 times. So if I pulled one off the top of my head, it would sound very intimidating. But only you have to remember, I've been doing it for a long time, and I also have done it for this particular essay several times over. So don't be intimidated, because it did take time to get to that point. So a thesis statement needs to sound something along the lines of, in the poems, Harlem by Langston Hughes and The Rose That Grew on Concrete by Tupac Shakur, both poets present themes on the topic of adversity, period. So I know, as your reader, that you're going to be talking about these 2 poems, which I know exactly which poems you're going to talk about. I know exactly who wrote them. And I know that you're going to be talking about how each one of them develops a theme around the topic of adversity. Okay. So I know precisely what you're going to do. You haven't tied yourself into anything. too specific, like saying that one of them does it better than the other, or that one of them presents it in one kind of tone and the other in a different tone. But you've left it general enough that you have some wiggle room and don't need to worry about going back and making sure that you've done everything that you said you were going to do in your thesis statement. And you made it a statement, not a question. And it doesn't include the phrase that makes Ms. Narduzzi and I want to gouge our eyeballs out, which is, in this essay, I will. Make me want to go completely, like, what was her name from Oedipus? Antigone on you. Gouge out my own eyes. Or no, was it Oedipus that gouged out his eyes? It was Oedipus that did it, yeah. After he realized that Antigone was his daughter's sister. My dad just made a face. Yes. When Oedipus realized that he belonged on Jerry Springer, that was when he gouged out his eyes. All right. So how long do you guys think it usually takes you to write a thesis statement? In reality. Because that one can be very difficult. I mean, I am thinking of spending, like, we could spend a whole class period on it, and some of you would still walk away with that one. So what do you think? All right, so Gabe is going to go as little as 32 seconds. So let's be a little bit more conservative so we don't scare off everybody, Gabe, and we'll just say 3 minutes minimum. All right. To about how long do you think it would take some of you for on the longest here? I'm going to try and give you guys a tool to do it in under 10 minutes, but all right. Since you guys are afraid to admit it, that's okay. I'm going to say for some of us, it can take up to 30 minutes, especially if you're having some writer's block, where you're like, I don't know where to start with this. That can take you a really long time. All right. So again, I'll probably have to make you guys like a little mini video to put with the essay, so that you can have that support. All right. So writing the draft of your paper, what do you guys think? How long does that usually take? In reality, when you're sitting in a classroom and you're typing up a paper, how many class periods does it usually take you? I mean, I've seen people doing as little as one class period. Not usually a great essay, but occasionally you get a good one in one class period. And that's about 45 minutes. But really, how long do you guys think it usually takes you to write an essay that has to have some kind of quotes in it? Nobody wants to fuss up, huh? Would it surprise you if in previous classes, I'm going to pull up theirs, that they said it takes usually 2 to 3 class periods to do that? Nobody's talking now. Okay. All right. So rather than looking at the rest of our chunks here, what I'm trying to point out to you guys is overall, according to this breakdown here of how long it takes to do each one of these steps, and our final step being that we would grammar check the paper, that can take anywhere from honestly about 5 minutes to up to 45 minutes, really. But I think 15 to 30 is a good average. If you don't have a whole lot of mistakes, it's going to be a lot easier for you. If you are somebody who struggles with grammar, you're not really sure where a comma goes, you don't really know exactly what a semicolon does, guess what? You are not alone. you and probably 95% of the population of the planet are in the same boat. Okay. So do not panic. It's okay to not necessarily know those things. It's a learning process, and any language that is used regularly, especially the English language, those rules tend to change. So you may have learned a rule when you were a little kid that something that is an apostrophe with an S after the end shows possession. Guess what? That's not always the case. Like if you look at the word it's with the apostrophe is not possession. It is actually showing you that you're taking two words, it and is, and gluing them together. So that rule doesn't work there. But I guarantee you, somebody in this room, because I was one of those people, was told that that was the rule at some point in time. And that messes you up moving forward. So, all right. According to this, and Gabe's probably checking my math on this, and that's fine. It will take you minimally about 3.5 to 4 hours to complete this, and maximum probably 7 to 8 hours. Okay. So you need to look at these chunks and think about, am I one of the people who is really good at writing? Writing is my strength. I can do this in that 3.5 hours. Or are you one of those people, and I was one of these people in high school who struggled with this. You may have started off with this awesome thesis statement you thought was the most wonderful thing in the world. It was the most brilliant thesis statement that had ever been written on the entire planet. And then you start writing your essay and you go completely away from that. So then you have to go back and rewrite it every single time for me. Or you might be one of those people who just pounds them out like, McDonald's pounds out French fries. It's a metaphor. My mom's like, ew, pounded out French fries? Gross. All right. So, you have to be aware of which one of these categories you fit in. You might fall somewhere in between. And then what we need to do is taking a look at this list, figure out how you're going to spread that out over the week. So that's where I'm going to kind of put us back on our sharing. So if this is the planner that I started making using my notebook, I'm going to try and, because I know that my goal here is to have it turned in on this day that is circled. So I'm going to have to take everything that's on the board, all right, and I'm going to have to chunk that out over these days so that I can get done in time. So I can do this one of two ways. I can either start at the beginning and move down, or I can say that I know that on this day I need to turn it in. So maybe on that day I know I'm going to do my grammar check. So I'm going to say that I know I have to work 3 to 9. So I'm going to get up at 8 a.m. And 8 to 10, I'm going to go to church. Put a little CH there. And then I'll be home probably around noon. So from noon to 2, I can do work. So I've got 2 hours there. So what can I get done in 2 hours? I can grammar check. So I'm going to put like a little on my second line. I'm going to abbreviate here, gram, and then a check mark and turn in. All right. So I know then that I have to have my draft needs to be done here. And I'm not working that day. So I could do my draft from 4 till 8. So that gives me 4 hours. And I can do draft essay here. All right. So then I'm starting to spread out what I need to do for my essay. So I started at the end where I wanted to be done with it, and I'm moving backwards. That's what they call backwards planning. All right. So then Wednesday, I know I'm going to have another 4-hour chunk that I could do something, but maybe in the evening I have a date. Okay. So I'm going to try and put this in, since I know I have morning classes, between noon and 3 o'clock, because that's like our typical school day. So what am I going to do that day? So if I look at it, I need to have my graphic organizer, my hook, and a thesis statement. So I could put, and I know I'm going to start that finish. GO, graphic organizer, the hook, and thesis. So that way, when it comes to getting everything done, I'm not like panicking at the last minute. All right. I'm going to turn that on. So, any questions? Your stunned silence disturbs me. Somebody has to have a question. Does anybody need me to cajole you and make you feel better about life because you're in the middle of a panic attack? Which would be understandable. All right, I'm going to stop our recording here.